was India ever ready for indigenization and in avionics at that point?
The idea was that let's try something that's tough.
The rising power of the graph of Bharat today. Technology, business acumen, marketing, I think a wonderful combination. I think really welcome. I think we in Bharat should be really happy for people like you, with people like you.
So these communication chipsets is where the hacking happens. For example, I had heard that we had procured some drones, I think for the Indian Army, and then later realized that there was a snooping case. And this happens because of the communication chipsets being international. And then,
If you don't mind, I go a little detailed into this. So, communication basically is like very simply put. Now, if both of us are speaking in English, everybody will understand. Now, suppose if we switch to say speaking in Hindi, some people would understand. If we say speak in Tulu, both of us, nobody will understand. They can hear what we are saying. Yeah. They can hear the sounds coming out, but they can't understand what we are saying. That is actually the vulnerability which is there. It is not per se in the communication aspect. Is the communication system is one gateway towards the vulnerability, but the core vulnerability lies in the what we call as the data command and control protocol, the language in which the GCS and the autopilot, the flight control system, communicate. The vulnerabilities which came up were because these languages being used were open source. So, because it being open sourced, an encryption on open source, like say hi, I say hi, how are you? Everybody can understand. Now, encryption on open source, like say the open source message that I'm delivering to you once a second is hi, how are you? Encryption on this is say how high are you? It's all jumbled. Somebody can put it back together because they know that hi, how are you is going every once a second. They know the message that's going once a second. They just need to understand what's the key you have used. But suppose I, give you some type of gibberish like blah 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 something like that. You won't be able to understand. Only the recipient and the transmitter would be able to understand. That's why command control is far more important than the communication channel itself.
That is the cybersecurity framework.
That's the cybersecurity framework.
So you're saying that India has to develop its own proprietary cybersecurity frameworks and ask companies to say follow these? Is that how it works? Naive question maybe.
No, it's a beautiful question. I would love to give an example which is extremely successful in India itself. I'm sure all of us will know about eMudra, yes. BIM, yes. And DigiYatra. Yes. And M-Aadhaar. These are. Yes. Now say like for example, eMudra works on a Chinese Oppo smartphone, works on an iPhone, it works on an Android, Android phone that I have. So it works on the most compromised system which is like an Oppo, as well as it works on an iPhone and still secure. So it's not the question that we have to make some cyber security framework. We have already got it thanks to the Aadhaar system that some of the great minds of the IT industry put together. The same thing has to be adapted here. It has to be, and the challenge that is coming up there is that many companies within India, especially in the drone space, don't have control over the core aspects of the system like the FCS, communication module, the relay chipsets. So they are not able to implement these things. So there are solutions existing within our ecosystem. We have to just adapt it for this.
Who has to adapt this? Sorry, government has to build these.
Here is what I'm asking. See, we are also procuring, basic chipset from, say, Canada. You're getting something else from somebody else. And they all must be speaking different languages. Basically, you've got to put them all together. And is this where you draw up your own, language or whatever it is to get them connected together? Is it possible for you to ensure that nobody else can butt into that within your small?
So, as I said, like very technically, if you get down to it, I like to explain about headers, footers, and all that. But generally speaking, once you create, say, your own protocol, own language of communication, which is there, and then you have certain encryptions that you add on it, it becomes extremely difficult even for, say, a quantum tool or a hack exploit, as what you call as a quantum exploit, a quantum computer aided exploit, brute force exploit, to hack into this, because they don't know the base layer. We don't know what is being sent.
Yeah, correct.
We are just able to see, so like for example, you're just able to see noise. You're not able to see what's being sent. So that has to be done. And the government end users again have to mandate something like this.
So, which means the defense.
They have to come up with a framework saying, if you are going to supply anything to us, it should comply to cyber security standards, so and so, like OWASP 3.0 is being used by MeitY, Ministry of Electronics, for all your BIM users that.
So we have it for those, and we do not have it for, what would you say this? We do not have it for communication.
So if you call the communication control, everything put together is called a cyber physical stack.
Cyber physical stack. So that we do not have standards for.
We don't have standards for the CPS, as what you call. It is not only in drones, it is also in other unmanned as well as certain other applications also in defense.
Why are we limiting this to defense? Well, it can be for Shipping Corporation of India, it can be for...
Actually anybody, so that nobody can hack into at least Indian systems, even if they are being used as fire drones, fire extinguishing drones. Fair enough.
The question in all this is who's going to take that initiative and implement it.
This is why we have the Swarajya Conclave 2040 with the vision of India 2047, so that we can have these conversations and start pushing government through such conversations on what does the industry need, where do they need to uplift and deliver more as services, as money and ecosystem encouragement and incentives, like you said.
Where do you see